So good evening. So while waiting for the others, I just would like to remind na the deadline for all your requirements will be this week na sa Saturday until 21, and after that, submission as a grade. So hopefully you can all submit.
21 man ang last one, no?
Yes, base ano lang na ako na siya para makasubmit pa mo. But this week ang last day sa Saturday sa 14 is the last day of the summer class. But submission of grades next week pa naman. So I'm giving you until next week. So I hope you are all doing well with your requirements, and if ever you cannot, if there are problems like mga unexpected events, no, nga di na to ma-control, then you just inform me, no, whatever. So I can give you allowance or daily allowance na kwarta ha, can time or any depende sa situation, no. So I'll just check the attendance. So as I have said, last time we discussed about IMRAD, and we are already in chapter 4, which is writing a research paper. And although we are going to talk about the scientific style and etc., everything, as we go on. So we have to complete this one before the end of the page. Before the end, wrong pala ko. Nawala na noon ko. So but in this ano kasi, wrong na noon ko ta. Asa na ganito ko nara. So in this dapat kasi na inyo naning na na tawag dyan, na step by step, I mean nabasa next this all 100 pages. So next lang na ninyo until you will see the last questions before ninyo ma-complete ang activity. So mo na ang requirement. So you should be able to see the different pages, I mean. Okay. Okay, so with that, as I have said, we've done the IMRAD, and this will be, hopefully we still have Friday naman to catch up. But for this time, we're going to jump on research presentation, and hopefully the publication in journals, because you'll be needing this for your requirement. So let's start with how to do the presentation. So last time kasi, last February, we had our research, what do you call that? Research forum in the college, with the theme Continuity of Research Culture through Virtual Presentation of Sustained Utilization. So ang tawag dun is call for papers. So each of us, the faculty, and even students, no, but usually I don't know if they have continued with the students in the graduate school. Kasi in the college naman, sa ating college, hindi masyadong researches, but more on OIP tayo. So we have guidelines for this, and we use the IMRAD guidelines. So like for examples, the format, kailangan 15 to 25 pages yung paper, and this will also be published, di ba? May journal tayo. The RMC journal. So this will be published. And double space. So the language of course is English. Then the title is placed at the center in boldface and font size 12. And the journal limit title is from 12 to 15 na titles, no, na sentence or words. So ito yung mga guidelines, no, in short na lang, like if your titles are merong observation, investigation, or the study of, it's a no-no in the title. So dapat hindi siya mag-start ng ganitong mga words. Yung para bang, yeah, it is a study, but lalagyan mo pa ng title na study, no? And then 2 or more lines na inverted pyramid, ibig sabihin pa ganyan siya ng form sa titles. Then they should have the name of the researcher, the place, that are placed below the titles. The researcher. Below the title, nandun ang name ng researchers, and center siya, but not italic and also bold. Dapat meron din siyang address, email, contact numbers. In case naman na group researcher, so dapat name of the lead researcher is mentioned in the first with the title. So una yung lead researcher, then follows. At last time we have learned na that is in accordance. So kung sinong mas may mabigat na nagawa doon sa paper, no? And usually yung pinaka main editor is in the last part. So the margins are also should be 1 inch. So yung standard format naman ng mga word ngayon ay 1 inch talaga. And a short abstract should be not more than 150 words. And also merong introduction, section title, and yung section title should be italic. So yun yung mga, at saka may keywords, and then single space before introduction and so on. So naka-state talaga, especially for journals, kung ano yung mga specific na format for the journals. And only important contents of the method are required in your full manuscript. Si John Paul, ano na ba siya? Yes. Meron siyang sinend sa ating group chat. So, although hindi ko pa siya nag-click kasi busy ako kanina, meron ako mga very important visitors. Charot. So, hindi ko pa na-check, but I will try to see kung anong meron doon. But for sure, nakikita ninyo sa outline na nakakompleto lahat doon ang kailangan for a standard manuscript. Pero yun nga, we have discussed with the research director and the academic heads na we really don't need the very lengthy na manuscript. No, that's the traditional, yung manuscript na ang daming appendices, ang daming attachment, but that has been a tradition for how many years since education as far as concerned existed. But then it's time to be practical naman, no? So we were considering na let's just use the IMRAD anyway. Now that's more important for kanang mag-publish ka, no? Or for journal. So we don't need the lengthy manuscript when we do the publication, which is more important than stocking a lot of manuscript in the library and nobody's reading it, diba? But since especially ngayon na pandemic, so you cannot also get inside the class, I mean the campus as for now, unless very necessary. So kaya ayon, only the important methods ang pwede lang isali. And you also have results or findings, statement of the problem, conclusion, recommendation, and sometimes meron pang future directions for qualitative studies, yung again social studies, and lahat ng acronyms should be properly spelled out in footnotes, and ethical standards must be strictly followed. So ito yung wino-workout namin sa kasi I am now the secretary of the research ethics committee, so I'll be more busy with this. And one of the ethical standards is yung let's say ang pinaka-main talaga is yung vulnerability, especially when you use animals or humans na na mga samples or populations, no? Kasi kailangan, like for example, for medical and health, and also for social studies, kasi once you'll be interviewing or giving survey or questions to those vulnerable person, like for example, under the age of 18, o kaya meron silang impairment, mga buta, bungol, na mga inana, parang they have inability to decide by themselves or whatever. So, and also social value. Kailangan yung mga research ay may social value, may importance. So hindi lang research, like for example, isang napaka no sa ethical standards ay yung cloning animals and persons. So it's really a no. Although maybe the other scientists that are hard-headed have been doing it without our knowing, but then it's still unethical. So there's a lot na and especially kailangan makita ang credibility mo as a researcher, and also the accurateness and of the data that you're using, and those are just few. And then for oral presentation naman, you have to dress neatly, appropriately, and business attire presentation. Kanang dili ka mo nakapang-beach lang, no? And make sure na in your oral presentation, this means that when you are going to present in public, so ngayon this time is virtual presentation na, so you'll be in video. So you should make your voice clear, madungog ba ko ninyo? Audible and loud enough to be heard. And you should have eye contact with the audience, no? Dili lang kay masin lang magbasa ana mo or magtanaw mo dito sa ibabaw, no? Whatever. So you should talk to your audience in eye-to-eye contact. Then stand up straight and avoid slouching. Avoid direct and just merely reading your paper, as I've said. Then express your ideas to the audience in a communicative way. So sometimes with action pag mag-communicate. So with a combination of gestures, your eye language, refrain from looking at the white screen for that is the audience used, and refer your computer instead, and avoid blocking. Like matalikod ka, matalikdanin mo ang presentation, or face the audience and never put you're back on them. Natalikdan mo sila kay maulaw ka. So it's just normal that you are nervous in the first place na mag-public speech ka. But in the beginning lang na siya na kulba. After that, actually, no, you will get used to it. No, and I'm not really sure kung how to deal with it. No, kasi ako I don't know. I am just trained na like naga-host ko sa una when I was still in college. No, ganahan kaya sila sa akong boses and the way I speak, kaya always ko gina-ask na mag ng MC ana. So na-use na ko anang mga inana. But then, oh my God, kanang Ivy, ahan to si Ivy, wala si Ivy, no? Si Mary Rose. Mary Rose, can you speak? Dili siya maka-istorya. But then, like, when you join in a beauty pageant, no? Grabe pod ang kulba niya, as in dili pod siya kabayran, no? O ano. So, but then it's just in the beginning. After mga pila ka minutes, when your adrenaline rush it makes you actually work accurately when your adrenaline is working. I mean, is starting na. So, mas maayo imuhang presentation. But then, I don't know, there are also times na ma-mental block ka no tungod sa imong kakulba. And I also experienced that one. No, like, unsa gyud ito'y pangutana? Because I also have done an impronto na in extemporaneous speech before. Something like that. So, in continuation, going back and marag nagdaghanap kay kung ginastorya, summarize your main points and make strong concluding remark or reinforce your reason why your study is of value. And give minimum 5 minutes to maximum 20 minutes. So usually, in a technical presentation, usually, pinakadugay na ng 20 minutes. So 5 minutes, no? You should be able, so it means 5 minutes or 15-minute presentation, dapat 15 slides sa pud imong PowerPoint. So mamaya I will teach you or show you how it is done. And you keep on rehearsing while you are preparing and flawlessly harmonize your slides with your written speech. So it's better na naamoy sa baba niya, di ba, na yung mga notes, so you can actually add the things that you're going to say so that dili ka mawala or mental block, and maintain perfect timing. So kailangan, of course, kung sa imong slides mo putog imong storya, no? And make notes on words or phrases you need to emphasize. For example, makikita niyo mamaya. And you can rehearse that with your advisor or coach. So I remember my classmate before, who is also my co-faculty, no, in the previous institution that I've been. So gina-train siya sa iyang advisor, no? Like nag-practice sila, which is very amusing to me kasi I have not done that before. Like ang akong kahadlok sa akong advisor no, murag din na ko kaya magpatudo sa iya o something like that, no? And prior to that, Manggod, is I'm used na to speaking to speaking in public, but I never really thought na magiging teacher ako in the academe. So I always wanted to work in a farm, wag yun akong ganahan, and also in a laboratory. It's either in a farm or in a laboratory. But my family has the genetic makeup of teachers, so both my parents were teachers, so maybe this is my kapalaran. So, and also hopefully one of you here will be going back to RNC Sunday to teach. And so this time you should you should practice na. So again, rehearse, practice, So of course, in the beginning, you have to introduce yourself, your position and department, then introduction to the study, your course or researcher, and so on. And then you do your methods, and then your results and discussion, conclusion and recommendations, and future directions, and closing statement, like you appreciate, you thank the whole team for the research, and also for the audience who is keenly listening to you. And also in the last part, although hindi ko na ito nasali in my sample example, the references is also very important, that they know the references. But mostly kasi hindi na na-include, kasi mas importante naman kasi na minsan kasi ang time limited, so hindi mo na talaga mabasa lahat. There are like, even when you are already in the academe, there are still faculties who are very poor in presenting, no? Napaka-worthy, napaka-lengthy ng kanilang mga PowerPoint presentation. But then, there's always space for learning. So how to make a good slide shows, you make sure na yung font and color is magka, what do you call that? Magka harmonize, and they are not disturbing yung mga styles mo. Baka puro black na siya masyado. And also avoid wordiness sa PowerPoint, no? And kasi the audience may be bored na madami makitang mga text, and keep each bullet to one line. So one bullet, so one sentence or two at the most. Limit the number of bullets in a screen to 5 or 6 lang ka bullets or lines in one slide. And then you can shorten it to 4 kung meron kang title, logo, or picture. And show one point at a time. Do not show distracting animation. Yung ganon. But then sometimes, depende, no, sa technical, hindi magandang may animation. Pero in other presentation, like when you're doing an advertisement or parang TikTok na mga inana, mas magandang may mga animation. Use at least 18-point font sa PowerPoint, ha, and Times New Roman or Arial, hindi yung mga complicated na mga fonts, no? To make it formal or standard. And then the color should contrast sharply with the background. That's what I'm trying to say earlier. Para like kung white imong background, then black imuhang, or you can use different color of fonts as long as white imong background. But when you, of course, logically, if your background is black, of course you have to use a white font or red, no? Parehaan yung siga kayo siya. Or yan, in the screen. And then refrain from using many colors, no? Parang colorful na siya tan-awon, dili siya formal. Very traditional. But then, mind you, kasi I just have read a research daw na like, di ba ang atong mga, usually if it's working theme, or like very formal or standard na mga colors like white, gray, yung mga ganon, mga black, yun yung mga standard na formal colors we use in the academy. But then there is another study showing that when you use playful colors like blue, different colors, or make colorful, it will enlighten or even encourage learning or more attentiveness. So sabi nila ganon. I am not saying na I'm contradicting. So I'm just showing you what is the standard and what they have found, no, when they use a lot of colors. So it's up to you to believe or to judge. So red and orange daw are high energy colors, but they can be difficult to focus on. So they are discouraged to use. Green, blue, and brown are mellow, but they are not attention grabbing. White on dark background should not be used if the audience is more than 20 feet away. So like you use black but white text gaya nito, but when they are very far away, parang ano na siya, mahirap na siya maklaro. And use backgrounds that are attractive but simple. Avoid distracting ones. Use same background consistently throughout your presentation. So yung theme mo, isang theme lang. Dili kayo maglahi-lahi kasi, I don't know, some effective background colors are blue, turquoise, purple, magenta. So they recede or draw away from the eye, allowing the text to appear more readable. So it's very important na readable siya using this color, and a background that transitions smoothly from lighter to darker shades of the same hue can also be effective. You know, like pa-dark na pa-dark, or what do you call that? Pa-clear ng pa-clear. Words should not be all capital letters, no? Di ba? Kung magbasa ka all capital, parang napaka-strong, and or unsay mong ma-feel kung mag-capital tanan imong basahon. Parang mawala imong concentration kasi when parang psychologically pag capital ka sa letter, murag something important siya, and then kung imagine na capital siya tanan, murag ang imuha ganing utok malibog, no? Tama ba ko? And they make text hard to read. They conceal acronyms, and they deny their use for emphasis. Yun yung mga reason. And use italics for quotes and highlighted thoughts or ideas. Of course, we are used to that na naka-italics siya ng paslang. Illustration are used only when needed, or else they become distractors, no? Pero ako mahilig talaga ako sa illustration or photos, no? But then yeah, tama siya kung imuhang slide na ay picture, ma-distract ang mga audience nimo. Sa picture na sila magtan-an, and they don't bother anymore what you're saying or what is written. And then like kung halimbawa masyadong joker yung teacher or yung speaker, no? Very nice kasi napaka-jolly ng klase, siguro mo katawa, but then you lose concentration on what is needed information, no? Nawala ka, imong nahinduman na katuro puro joke. Pero katong mga importante nga nakatabang sa imuha na makapasa sa board, or kanang maka-learn ka in your work someday. So makalimtan nimo kay puro binuang ray mong ma-remember. So that is also the disadvantage when you are too kanang animated or kanang na-entertain ka masyado. So ang mga joker para lang yun siya sa mga entertainment. No, but in the academe, we should all be serious, no? And hopefully dili sa ta matulog, ha? And simple diagrams are great communicators. So mga simple lang po ng mga photos or diagrams. Data and graphs are easier to comprehend and retain than raw data. So sometimes you use figure instead of table. Avoid commercial references unless mandatory. So yung references, when using a logo or institutional identification, it should appear only on the first title of the slide. No, delete na lang pabalik-balik. But then again, there are still some na doing that. Proof of your slides for spelling, the use of repeated or redundant words. So ito yung palang technique, no, ito yung na-learn ko sa aking advisor, which is also a very good editor of a journal, na ayaw niyang pabalik-balik na lang word, o sabi niya, you are using, like for example, I'm using like therefore. Ilang ulit ka na gumagamit ng therefore in the beginning hanggang ngayon. So in one paragraph or in one topic na sa lahat ng introduction mo, dapat isang beses ka lang gumamit ng oh my God, therefore. So 10 minutes left. And your references should be cited in the oral report. Must be included, of course. So for mechanics naman ng poster presentation, usually they use 2.5 feet by 5, then aerial, font size, usually 18 to 20. But I am actually using more than that kasi the more or clearly visible siya, the better. Then eyelets layer. So I will show you a very good and a very good na ginawa ko, and oh my God, nakakahiyang mga ginawa ko. And name of authors are centered and institution and so on. Okay. Complete email address at saka abstract and keywords, introduction, methods, result and discussion, and conclusions and references should be included in your poster. So ito yung sample na video how I presented the PowerPoint, but I also will show you the PowerPoint itself. So I would just want you to show kung paano ako nag-introduce, and the rest kayo na ang watch.
Good day, everyone. I am Alminda Fernandez from the College of Agriculture, the Rizal Memorial Colleges Incorporated. At this point, I would like to present to you the result of our study entitled Growth Performance of Tissue-Cultured Cavendish Banana, also known scientifically as Musa acuminata plantlets, as affected by stimulate, a foliar stimulans and enhancer for plants. I would like to acknowledge also my companions in this research, Mr. Louis Ray D. Montesilio of the University of Southeastern Philippines, Tagamabini campus, and Mr. John Paul Matuguines in the same College of Agriculture, Rizal Memorial Colleges. So for the introduction, we all know that banana.
So yun lang, no? And just click this paper PowerPoint. Kayo na ang mag-continue nun during Anyway, PowerPoint presentation lang naman ang hiningi ko muna. Hindi talaga yung mag-present kayo na naka-recorded. But if you can do so, the better, no? Tag-antadjud mo og 99%. So ito yung ginawa ko. So as you can see, si Louie at saka si John Paul, si Sir JP nyo yan. Mag-classmates sila, mga estudyante ko sila. But always, sinasabi nila na I'm using my students, kasi ako advisor nila, my students study daw for my presentation. But please don't judge immediately kasi it's the other way around. It's actually my original research, which is funded by Scholar Philippines. And I am just collaborating with them. So, pinasali ko sila sa research ko. Free yan of not really labor. No? Libre naman ako na sila o ganang Jollibee during their presentation. But tanang mga supplies, materials, reimbursed yan ng company. So that is why I have the guts na maging first author dito, and because the main idea was mine, and I just asked their help technically to conduct it as their research thesis. So ayan, ito yung introduction methods. In just one slide lang yung methods ha, but then there are also mga step-by-step methods na pwede nyong gawin. No, and then there are also some na this is just an example. And ito na yung results. So in terms of survival, so meron akong konting photo, and then I just have to explain what happens, which is in the video already. And in terms of, as you can see, ito yung napaka-importante that I have technique ko. So if you want the, like, ano ba yung table na yan, ma'am? So, idagan kay letters. So as you can see, makikita niyo yung photo dito on how to measure the plant height. And ano bang ibig sabihin? So isulat mo na dito sa title kung ano ang gusto mong result na ibigay. Like for instance, yung treatment 7 daw na combination ng stimulate, bioforge, and conventional practice had increased the plant height twice or second 2 times. No? So ayan, naiintindihan na ng mga readers or ng mga viewers ang mga audience mo na ano pala ang ibig sabihin ng table na ito. And also that goes on, this figure just to show you. Yan. So hindi ko na yan isa-isahin. So this is length of leaves, width of leaves. So this is just an example of style or technique. So there are also various ways you can see from different authors. As you can, if you will participate in a forum, for example. This August 17th pa kasi yung I was invited to be, hindi na ako ikwento sa inyo ha, but maybe invited na evaluate o kanang mga researches. So I will, although tapos na yung klase natin, I will still invite you. Also, I will give you the link later sa group chat natin para makakita po mo example kung ginaunsa nila. So I was invited as a judge. So this is number of roots. You can see my picture talaga ng roots. Ayan. And pag NS naman, treatments did not affect the root length. And so on, fresh weight and dry weight. Yan. And the conclusion. So ayan na, simple lang, hindi siya masyadong worthy, but ano yung that combination ng ang result is magandang effect is yung combination daw ng stimulate and bioforge with conventional practice. So it increased the plant height, length, width, number, and so on. So mas madali siya. Although I forgot na ano yung references dito. But sometimes in a national forum and scientific, you may or may not put your references. But when the authors or the audience ask for it, you should be ready to present it. So that's for the research. Oral presentation, 1 minute. So ito yung example na poster. Yan yung title, yung authors, and makonting introduction. So ito yung project ko before sa USEP, funded by the DOSTP card. So on objectives, methods. So napaka-konti lang talaga, no? Para sa poster. So this is a 40 by 60 inches na poster. Then counting methodology. So lahat ng poster, kung konti lang yung PowerPoint presentation for oral presentation, mas konti lang din ang poster. Basta meron na siya introduction or rationale, methods, results, and less than a minute na tayo. And ito, results. So I still have a lot of examples here. Yan. Ito naman, sorry kasi Spanish, but ginawa ko ito sa Universidad de Santiago de Compostela sa Espanya. Charot. So, mostly, actually, ako nagbuhat sa iya ha, pero ako lang nag-design, but yung mga Spanish words are made by my co-researcher. So, ito naman, black siya, no? Sa New Zealand ko naman ito present. Yan. This is quality and nutrition of pomelo as influenced by potassium. So, meron siya, ambot lang sa inyo na siya effect masyado sa